Welcome back, operators. Today, we are stepping straight into the command center for a highly targeted mission. We are tackling Day 39, Active Directory attacks. Look, considering Active Directory is used by roughly 90% of the global Fortune 1000, it's pretty much the ultimate prize for adversaries. It is the keys to the kingdom. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact strategies and the specific software that you need to conquer this domain. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the blueprint for today's module. First up, we'll cover the core attack topics. Second, we'll open up the Hacker's Toolkit. And third, we'll bring it all together for the AD Attack Simulation project.
Starting right off with Section 1, Core Attack Topics. Because before we deploy into the field, you know we have to establish a rock-solid understanding of these theoretical attack factors. So our syllabus lays out 4 primary conceptual vulnerabilities that we are studying today. We've got Pass the Hash, which is going to allow attackers to use leftover credential fragments to log in. We've got Kerber roasting, which specifically targets vulnerable service accounts. Then there's Bloodhound for mapping out the network. And finally, lateral movement. Now remember, these aren't just vocabulary terms you memorize for a test. These are the distinct tactical maneuvers that are absolutely required to compromise an AD environment.
Actually, let's focus our attention on lateral movement for a second. Our source material defines this concept as the path forward. And honestly, that hits the nail on the head. Why? Well, because getting an initial foothold on a network is rarely, if ever, your final target, right? Lateral movement is that strategic, step-by-step progression. It's how you pivot from some low-level, compromised workstation all the way up to domain admin. It is the critical underlying goal tying everything together.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the fascinating repetition of one specific name in our material, Bloodhound. On the one hand, Bloodhound is this core theoretical topic. It's a conceptual mapping strategy we absolutely must study. But then, on the other hand, it transforms into a fully actionable hacker tool. It perfectly bridges the gap. You have to master the theory of mapping a network before you can actually wield the software to do the heavy lifting for you.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, the Hacker's Toolkit. This is where those theoretical concepts we just covered are transformed into applied, actionable software. And this brilliantly illustrates our designated loadout for the operation. We have 2 specific tools required here, Bloodhound and Mimikatz. As you can see, both of these are checked off, locked in, and absolutely essential for upcoming simulation. There's no going into the field without them. Now, you really need to pay attention to Mimikatz, because it is literally the linchpin of this operation. You remember Pass the Hash from our theory section a minute ago? Well, while Pass the Hash is the conceptual maneuver, Mimikatz is the actual software you're going to use to scrape memory and extract those credential fragments. It takes all that abstract theory and turns it into a highly effective, applied weapon in your arsenal. Let's move to and see how this all builds into Section 3, the AD Attack Simulation Project. This is the ultimate proving ground where everything we've learned gets put to the test. So here is our direct chronological pathway to success for the project. Step 1, you've got to internalize the mechanics, really understanding Pass the Hash and Kerber roasting. Step 2, you head to your toolkit and physically equip Mimikatz and Bloodhound. And finally, Step 3, you execute. This is exactly where the theory and the software collide to run the live AD attack simulation. It is a seamless logical progression, from learning to arming to attacking.
So, the blueprint for Day 39 is fully laid out on the table. The theoretical vulnerabilities are mapped, and the offensive tools are fully equipped. At this point, the only variable left in this equation is you. When the theory meets the toolkit, what is your next move going to be? Are you ready to compromise the network, or will the simulation beat you? I'll see you on the battlefield.